It's another edition of Bentley Tech EDU. I'm James Bentley, and today we're going to be covering everything you need to know about selective edits. I love selective edits because they allow me to do different things, which I find to be some of the most powerful functions in Adobe Lightroom and even Photoshop. Let's start off with the basics. How do you take a picture and make it half black and white and half color? Well, there's different tools that are going to allow us to do that. And the first thing that we always look at is, where do I find the tool? In the bottom left-hand corner, find the Selective Edit button. It's kind of a circle with dashes. All you do is you press the plus symbol, and you'll notice it's divided with a paintbrush. Here's the paintbrush. That's pretty interesting, but not what I want. Go back. It's got a circle, which again is adjustable. Did you know if you pick it up from the blue thing, it'll move? But this is not what we're after. And, oh, go away, go away. Go away. There we go. And finally, the one we are going to start off with is the Gradation Tool. So I'm just going to pull this down. How does it work? It's got 3 lines. One line, this one at the bottom, has no red. The one in the middle is the ending point, and it's also how you can rotate. And the top one adjusts how much additional red there's going to be in a shot. What you need to be aware of when you're doing this is that the red will be the affected area. Take a look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this saturation level down. So all I do is I go to my color tab and I take the saturation and I slide it down. Look at that. Now what's going on? Blenders and the vintage appliances are black and white, and the fruits, the tomatoes, are in color. Let's check it out. If I hold before, you can see there's more color, there's more tonality, and if I take my finger off, the whole thing has completely changed. Now that's very interesting, but can you be more detailed with it? Yes, you can. Now, what I'm going to do is just zoom in on a particular tomato, just so that you can see that I have one little tomato right there. Now I'm going to use the circle tool just to show you what's possible. I take the circle tool and I'm just going to make a little teeny circle around one of the tomatoes. The first thing you're thinking to yourself is, wait a minute, he just used multiple all in one. Yeah, I had a linear gradation and now I'm going to use a circle gradation. Take a look. Same trick, color, and I'm going to make one, only one, black and white. There you go. Now as I did it, I realized I could probably increase it a little bit more so that it's got a little bit better of more of a look. You can actually go out if you really want it, but I won't. Now what's going on is the feather, the fuzzy edges, is affecting only one of them. Okay, that's one thing to think about. Now as you look in the upper sections, you've got the circle, the eraser. Check out this like half moon thing. That's called inverse. It just affected everything that was not the circle. Okay, so now the circle is red and everything else is black and white. Now let me go back. Okay, so as you can see, I still have the original black and white up at the top, and I have one lonely black and white tomato. I can actually pick it up and I can move it wherever I want and edit it at any time. That's a pretty interesting feature. Now, one of the things that you should think about when doing this is you can always edit any of these at any time to readjust and to recalibrate whatever it is you're doing. That's the basic feature, and that's how it works. I didn't say that my little tomato trick was good, and I didn't say it was something I'm going to keep. I just wanted you to see how it can work. There's an eraser tool which will also allow you to erase. I'm using my finger and I'm scrubbing and I'm literally putting color back into the shot by using the eraser tool, which was not a very good idea. So what I am going to do is I'm going to approve all this. I'm going to go back, back, back until we're kind of back at something that is more reasonable. All right, so many tools, so many functions. The circle we just covered, the linear gradation we covered, and the brush is kind of what you think. You can just kind of scroll around it, and if you wanted to brighten it, let's just make it really crazy. So you can see that it can highlight or decrease the value of something. Let's try it in something more practical. Let's say you want the tomatoes to really go crazy red. Well, what I would do is I would select the tomato area and I would rotate it so that it's not like way up here. And now let's do the opposite of going black and white, and let's make them completely overly saturated. Now they're really red. If you wanted to be like bizarre about it, you could actually, maybe let's try making him go a different color. Can we do that? What the heck is going on? That is a pure color adjustment. Those look nasty, but you guys get the idea. How about that? Those don't look like any kind of tomatoes I want to eat. If you like it, which I don't, you approve it. Well, those are the basics. This is the first step. Now let's actually apply it to something that we like and that we're going to do as an official project that we're going to turn in for the Lightroom project. The Selective Edit tool is so powerful and there's so much to learn. I thought it was important just to cover what it can do in terms of its basic tools, the paintbrush, the circle, and the gradation tool. And the most important thing to know about all of these tools is the functionality within them. Okay, so like you've got the eraser and the trash can. Let's trash it. You've got the circle, and it's got an eraser. It's got a radius. This will allow you to alter certain functions within it. And then the one below that is the inverse. So say you're happy with it and you did a good job on it, you would just approve it, and if later on you wanted to get rid of it, you would just trash it. Those are the basics. Now let's move on to something a little bit more sophisticated and beautiful. All right, so we're now going to actually apply what we've learned with selective edits, but this time we're going to do it on a photo that's got a little bit more visual appeal and a little bit more interesting content. So here we have a guy walking through the smoke. It's a very kind of interesting image. The first thing I'm going to do is hit the auto button just to see what we get out of it. It got a lot brighter. And I'm going to be honest, I don't like what I'm seeing. I'm going to go back. All right, let's just start with the basic stuff. I always do lighting and color adjustments just to get me going. I want to create kind of a cool, dark tone to this image with not much in the way of like excitement. All right, now I can already see I got to crop out a little bit. But this is all about selective edits. I'm going to save that for just a second because I definitely want to make the clouds and the smoke that's in that space a little bit more appealing. And you know how we do that. You go to the Effect tab, you bump it with a little clarity, a little bit of dehaze. Ooh, look what's going on with the ground. It's looking good. Now, as always with clarity and dehaze, what begins to happen is it can like become too much. So for me, I got to find a balance between losing too much of the smoky and keeping it looking like moody and mystical. I don't even want to call it mystical. I just want to call it ambient. And I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing right there. There's a strong quality about it. Well, let's get to the selective edit section. What I want to do is I want to make the ground less bluish. And what I'm really going to do is just get in there, I'm going to pull a gradation right on the ground, and I'm going to desaturate it. I want to really just kind of make it so that the ground has almost no color, and the sky and the guy and the smoke, which is not pure white, it's actually kind of a dirty brown color. So I want to just take the saturation of the ground and just drop it all the way to where it's almost black and white. There's 100% black and white, almost black and white. And when you're happy, you hit the check mark. Now I got something that's really looking interesting. I can feel the smoke in the air. The ground has been desaturated. There's a little bit in the sky. Let's work on a little bit of cropping now. How do you make it look good? Well, the question is, do I want to keep the telephone wires at the top, and how much of the bottom do I want to get rid of? That's the real issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of pick it up. And how big does the guy need to be in the shot? Let's tighten it up a little bit more. I don't know if you can see this, but there's like a garage on the right-hand side. Let's get rid of that. Pick up the photo and manipulate it so it's kind of like right there. I don't want to have, see the electrical components, I don't want to have that too much. It is kind of cool, but let's just put the guy right on that box. That looks nice. I'm feeling that. I've got good reflections. Now I will say this, I like the reflection on the water down below. Let's stick with that for right now. I can always go back and recalibrate and readjust my crop if I want. I always do this. I go back and I readjust all of my levels on everything because I want to get the most out of it. I want it to be dark as if it's nighttime, and yet it's early morning and the sun is really like putting a great glare on the back side of this guy. And I'm really, really liking that. Now the shadows, how much shadow do I really want to lose? So let's take a look. It's dark, it's moody, and yet the sun is fully blazing. Let's take a look. Before, after, before. I kind of like this. I gave it a good crop. The bottom is black and white. Maybe if I really wanted, I could go into the color and just, I'll do a quick test. Let's see what would happen if I give it a little bit more saturation. That almost has a little bit more moodiness to it because now the sky is getting a little bit more interesting. But I'm considering going back to clarity and dehaze just for a second. If I push the dehaze, I'll definitely get more out of the sky. See that? So this is kind of a question that the user has to come up with. I do like the color in the background, but I am losing so much of that cloud and that smoke that's in the distance. I think for now I'm going to kind of leave it alone, but I am going to go back and revisit my light and make that light just a little bit brighter because I don't want to have it be too dark. I think I can live with this, you guys. This is something that's pretty good. Honestly, I'm considering revisiting it in a little bit, but for right now, if I did it before and an after, I'm feeling this. So let's cover what I did. First thing was I hit it with brightness and exposure, and to be honest, the auto just didn't work for me at all. So I did it manually. I wanted to deal with the smokiness of the background. The smoke was very yellow because there was an actual fire, and this guy was walking past the fire, and you can see that the debris is there on the ground. So I'm feeling this, and if I wanted, I'd go back and readjust. Actually, now that I'm looking, I think my color might be a little bit too saturated. Let's just drop. Looks like I hit the vibrance more than the saturation. I can go with that. I'm feeling that. All right, that's it, you guys. If you're happy with it, just save off the file and make sure it goes to the appropriate place. That's it for Selective Edits. I want to remind everybody what I did on the bottom by desaturating it. It just looks great. I love it. Thank you for taking your time and learning this. This is the most powerful thing you can learn in Lightroom and Photoshop, Selective Edits. I'm James Bentley. Have a great day.